Are you thinking about taking the leap into homeownership? Before you dive in, let's talk about the pros and cons of buying your first home. We'll talk about the freedom to make your home design dreams come true to potential pitfalls like being underwater on your mortgage. Let's first talk about the pros. So real estate is an investment and you can build equity. So real estate typically appreciates around 3 to 4% each year. Now the past few years it's been much more, which isn't typical. Buying a home can create an asset that you get to live in and the value appreciates. Although your home serves a particular purpose, it's also an investment. If you think about it, when you rent, all you're doing is paying the right to live there. There's no investment into the property. With a home, each time you're paying your mortgage, you're creating equity in the home. Each payment earns you a larger stake in ownership of the home. Owning a home gives you stability and personalization. So when you buy a home, you can decorate it however you want, with certain limitations if you have an HOA, of course. You can paint it any color you want, at least on the inside, and then the home can be personalized however you want. When you own a home, there's a sense of stability. You don't have rent increases and you don't have a landlord over you making decisions. Like sometimes a landlord will decide to sell their home, then you have to find a new place to live potentially, or you end up getting another landlord, which they could be better, they might be worse. You just never really know. You also have tax benefits as a homeowner. So homeowners may be able to deduct mortgage interest and property tax payments as well as other expenses from their federal income tax. Now, of course, it's important to consult a tax professional for specific advice. This is just some general information. With owning a home, there's a pride of ownership. Honestly, owning a home can be really hard work, especially if you do a lot of the maintenance items yourself, but there's definitely a sense of pride after working in the yard all day or fixing a garbage disposal after watching hours of YouTube videos to make sure you do it right. I love getting pictures from my clients after they make home improvements. It's really cool to see, and it's very rewarding as a homeowner to be able to do all these things. There's also a way to make some money as a homeowner. So if you have extra space in your home, you could rent it out if you wanted, house hacking essentially. And then there are also programs in certain states where you can get a grant to build an auxiliary property on your land and you could rent that out. There's all kinds of other things you can do as well. Like if you have a pool, there's an app where you can rent out your pool. All kinds of stuff like that. And by making money off your home, it can help you with your financial situation and help pay for your mortgage payment. Let's talk about the cons of home ownership. It's a big financial commitment. It can cost a lot of money to buy a home. First, you have your down payment and closing costs. If you take the United States median home price of around $400,000, if you put 20% down on your home, you could pay nearly $100,000 in upfront costs when you include closing costs and other fees associated with buying a home. Now, of course, you don't need $100,000 to buy a home, but regardless, it's a financial commitment. Then there's maintenance and repairs. This is where things get pretty different than a rental. In a rental, if something breaks, you call the landlord and they fix it. In a perfect world, right? Sometimes it can take a while for them to fix things anyways, I've had some bad experiences. It happens. When you're a homeowner, it's your responsibility. You can learn quickly that it can take a lot of money just to maintain a home. Then there's unexpected repairs that come up. For some reason, things like to break within the first week of you owning the home. I'm not sure why that happens, but it does. You can get a home warranty, which can help with getting things fixed, but regardless, it costs money and repairs can add up to be expensive pretty quickly. As a homeowner, you have limited flexibility. When you buy a home, you can kind of feel stuck. It's not as easy to move as when you're renting a place. If you get a new job opportunity or a life event happens where you want to move, there's a lot more involved with that when you're a homeowner. The way the housing market is now, it's relatively easy to sell a home pretty quickly in most areas of the country. But it's not always like that. Sometimes it can take a long time to sell a home. If you need to move quickly, it could get pretty expensive if you have to get a new place to live but hold on to your old place until it sells. Then there's opportunity costs. Opportunity costs are the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. So basically what that means is the money you invested to buy your home could have been invested in something else that could give you a higher return on investment than your home. Like if your Uncle Mike has a great idea that he's going to pitch on Shark Tank, you could get first dibs on investing. But seriously, investing in the S&P 500 or something like that might be a better long long-term investment than buying a home. It really just depends on what your financial goals are and where you're at in life. Then there's market risks. So buying a home can be risky, especially in a market like this, in my opinion. Real estate is unpredictable, especially now. If you buy a home, it could lose value. If it loses value and you try to sell it, you may not be able to get your money back. In a worst case scenario, you could be underwater on your mortgage, which means you owe more money on the home than it's actually worth. When it comes down to it, you have to figure out for yourself, is homeownership for you? I think you have to analyze where you currently stand financially. Are you ready to make a big financial commitment? Also, what does the future hold for you? Which I know is kind of difficult to look in the crystal ball, but if you're going to want to move out of town in the next couple of years, does it really make sense to buy a home? Are you going to grow your family soon? So maybe it doesn't make sense to buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Maybe wait a few years until you can buy a home that's a better fit for your growing family. Owning a home can be a lot of fun, but it's also a big commitment. Writing out a pros and cons list for yourself could help you in your decision. If you want to learn how to buy a home, check out this video or this playlist about the home buying process. If you have any real estate questions, my contact information is in the description below. Thanks for watching to the end, especially if you're a subscriber.